Thank you for tuning in to Androna Talks Radio, gathering as one in our sovereign truth from a galactic perspective, exploring our world with new ideas, knowledge, and a promise of a better future. Galactic discussions for galactic-minded people. Androna Talks.
But I've studied these programming codes, and one thing that I've been shown, the thing that kind of made me step away is one, I was banned from YouTube back in I think it was 2017. And it was because of QHHT. I was posting my videos and stuff, and they just shut me down, man. And they shadow banned me on everything. On my Facebook, my Instagram, no one can see my stuff anymore. And it really upset me for the longest time, and I wouldn't post content because it was to the point where, on Instagram, I have almost 13,000 organic followers. If you click on my friends list, go ahead, people. They're mostly tattooers from around the world. You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of real people. And I'm lucky if I get 12 likes, 20 likes on a photo out of 13,000 people.
No.
My Facebook's the same. I'm lucky if I get 5 or 10 likes on Facebook, and I have at least 1,600 friends. That's a good amount of friends. If it's mathematical, which it is, it's an algorithm, you're guaranteed a certain return. I would get it minimum 5 to 10%, period. That's at least 130 to 160 likes per photo guaranteed just by the numbers at the most minimum engagement. And that's mathematical. So it's just I just want to sue all of them, complete violation of freedom of speech, covering up non-violent content deemed where, if I seen my government file, I bet they would have me classified as a right-wing terrorist. I bet my threat rating, I would love to see my classified file, not my file you can access with the police, right? I'm talking about my classified file. I would love to see what my classified file says, and that's why I contacted you. This is my first step to me being verified. And
yeah, Peter has a specific system, and we've had so many people claiming, oh yeah, I have the same records as Peter the Insider. I don't know why they do that, why they lie, they embellish, they want attention. But Peter really has a very specific records that, when I'm working with someone, I tell them I'm very open for the Akashic records.
If you want to read me with that stuff, I give you permission to look deeper. So don't think I don't have any firewalls with you looking into me.
Okay.
No, if you need to know who I truly am, I really need you to do that, because it would be nice to get past the superficial layers and you see what is true. You know what I'm saying?
There's a lot. There's a lot.
That I am not a deceiver. You can look into my energy. No, I am so against that I would fight and I would die for it to defend it.
Yep.
There's only honor. There's only integrity. You have to be a man of your word.
At this point in the game, maybe I shouldn't use the word game, but at this point, why even bother? I always said, my name is real. I didn't put out a fake name. I told everyone who I was. I have not lied about anything that I've said. As crazy as it might sound, I have always talked about it, not because I'm trying to impress anyone. I want to know, why is this happening, and is anyone else experiencing this? And that's pretty much all it is, right? So, and I feel like you're doing the same thing.
I
You
know
can
I'm
correct me.
involved within the role. I never knew that I was in the programs. I wasn't shocked to discover it. I had already come to the fact that it would make sense because everything I'm obsessed with, it has to do with all of it. So how can me as a soul, what I've learned with QHHT is the stuff you're obsessed with, you took part in. If you're obsessed with Atlantis, you're looking into Samaria. You're remembering when you were there and you're trying to rediscover yourself in those memories. Kind of like bringing the tattoos forward from the trauma, you know? Like this, for example. See that tattoo? That's Wolverine. Wolverine is one of my alter egos. He was taken through Operation Paperclip. He was a Generation Zero trauma-based mind control soldier. He was tortured, mind-factured. He lost his memories. He realized that everything is triggers. So it's just like, I feel that like I'm like one of the Wolverines. I'm one of the part of the X program, you know? And I'm obsessed with it all because subconsciously I knew that I was it. Like if you look in my house, I have battle costumes everywhere up on mannequins. I actually own a bunch of movie costumes from major movies from around the world, like a ton. Because when I used to, have my tattoo shop in Texas, I used to make a ton of money. And when I was nerding out, I ended up amassing a collection so large, it is freaking intense. And when I look at these pieces every day, man, it just blows me away. But when I go to these shows, I wore some version of a SSP armor, and it intimidates the fuck out of everyone. I wear a mask and everything. I think you could see the photos on my Facebook. If you just scroll down some of the photos I posted, it's very intimidating. And once I put that mask on and that costume comes on, that is the truest reflection of who I am. Stepping
You come into
forward
that persona.
out
But
the
these
other
right, but that's
official mask.
a lot of this is different experiences. We are a combination of all of these different lifetimes. And when you start to open up and start to, I understand who you are and unearth those lifetimes and those memories, I think that you take on that experience. That energy is now accessible to you and recall, and even like I feel like I sometimes move a little different or whatever. It's almost like capturing that other part of me that is, this is you, this is, and you come into your own personal power in that way, but also you come into a place of peace at the same time. It's an amazing phenomenon. I really like regressions. I studied under Dolores, and I learned from her, listened to her. It's a fantastic process. I don't follow through her exact process. I kind of do my own thing a little bit, which they probably wouldn't appreciate, but I don't, I let people know. But I think the point that I'm getting at is that we're on this like journey of awakening without the mind wiping. We don't want any more mind wiping. We're coming back into our truth and who we are, and everything else, anything artificial is totally a waste of time right now. It honestly is. This is a time for people. You should be digging in to who you are and what really makes you feel good and what's right and what's your truth. And then even be willing to disband some of that truth when you find a deeper level of that experience. Because we're multi-dimensional, multi-levels of wisdom, knowledge, and experiences that we've gone through. And that's what makes it all so fascinating, just going through this journey. I wouldn't trade it for anything in the whole world. I've never been more at peace and as happy as I am right now in that area. It's like if you find your niche.
I understand 100%.
Yeah.
Because it's taken me till 43 years old, till recently within the last couple of years to step into my power and my truth. And to let go of all the fears. Everything I've held back out of fear is the path.
Yeah.
So anytime I'm presented with a fear situation, I step forward into it and get it over with. That's what we're trained to do. We do not turn around. We do not retreat. We always move forward. There is no fear. They program fear out of you. I fear
Right.
nothing. There's no man above me.
Right.
Can't treat me with respect. I will not treat you with respect. I will not harm you, but you no longer have my respect.
Absolutely.
So I was doing a regression on Matthew Mornian. He runs one of these shows that's freaking, he's a pretty cool dude. And it turns out that me and him have a lot of past lives together. And it also turns out we were also in the dumbs together as kids. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because last night you said that you seen that I had a Lyran life. And during this session today, while he was under, he said my Lyran body was standing behind me the entire time, my lion body. And he said it was fucking huge. And I'd felt it. There was all kinds of stuff in the room, man. It was pretty awesome. But a lot of beings were there. But for you to confirm my Lyran life that I already knew about through QHHT, but for you to tell me about it, like, I'm like, man, that's freaking awesome, man. And you also told me about other lives like Draco life. And I think one of the most intriguing ones that I didn't know about was the astronaut life. Can you tell me more about that? Because you blew my mind with that.
Yeah, that I saw you as an astronaut. Oh, I'm kind of hung up on this other life that I keep seeing and I haven't told you about yet. So it's kind of blocking me. All right. Years ago, I had a realization that I was like a Tibetan monk, but really young, and I was training. And there was a bunch of there was a bunch of boys there. And I was tasked with having to deliver something. I had a document or some kind of message. And my job was to run to that location, give them the information I think it was related to a warning that I think the Chinese police were coming or something was going to happen and that they were in danger. And I didn't get there on time. And I had this like residual guilt. Like literally I would cry because I saw all of them dead on the ground. And like I had that guilt, and my teacher was so disappointed in me that I had allowed that to happen. And then I realized that my teacher's teacher met with me and that he was extraterrestrial. He was not human. And I remember when he talked, his teeth actually like literally kind of moved like it within his mouth in a way, but not like fake teeth or dentures. It was literally the bone structure could move in a way that's very different from humans. It was, I'll never forget it. And he had incredible abilities.
Lao Tzu is also extraterrestrial.
Yeah, I'm sure this.
I've been studying Lao Tzu since I was 15 years old. That's maybe 14. I was obsessed with Japan. Most of my tattoos on my body are in Japan. This geisha is apparently from one of my past lives. I met her at my first QHHT in-person training. She sat 5 seats away from me. She was given a regression that weekend. Turns out she was my geisha. And I was a governor of an entire prefecture. I ran an entire huge fucking city. And I was known to be good to my people. But the problem is I had this obsession with this prostitute that was a geisha. And she was the finest in the land. She was the most beautiful. And she had this cocky laugh that made her unique. And she had this freaking hand gesture that drive me nuts. It always did it for me. She did this little hand thing. And I didn't figure this out till, I don't know, 5 years ago that it was her. And I got this tattoo. You see, she's doing the damn hand gesture. And I found this piece of art online or in I think I found it in a tattoo magazine. And I found out years later, I tattooed her. And I'm on the other side. I'm the samurai back here protecting her.
That's what I was going to say. You're the samurai. Yeah.
I was a samurai too. And I have samurai armor in my house. A lot of samurai armor. And
yeah, I can see the picture back
sword,
there.
I have good memories with the sword. I've been a martial artist since 1995. I don't know if that's 28 years. And I've been a martial arts. I've been a martial artist every day for the last 28 years. I always shadow box, and by myself. I'm always practicing moves. I'm always looking into moves every day, 7 days a week. Always imagining myself doing these moves over and over. Because Bruce Lee said, I don't fear the man who's done 10,000, who's practiced one. Sorry, I murdered that. Let me try it again. I don't fear the man who's did 10,000 random kicks. I fear the man who's practiced one kick 10,000 times. So me, I'm constantly practicing in all the modalities I've ever with martial arts. I've had this, it's a mix between like Hapkido, Wing Chun, Muay Thai, and close quarter combat. And I love the use of knives. So I know that I used knives when I was in the programs. And I've been obsessed with knives my whole life. I've been playing with knives. I can take someone's hand, just like in the movie Aliens, and I can go pop, 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 pop between their fingers. Just because I can see it. I can slow the time down. And I didn't have that ability when I was young as a kid, but I can do it with a knife to my brother. And I can take a knife and I can throw it between your feet. I'm good. I knew in these lives, that's how I preferred to kill people, up close and intimate. I hate killing a combatant from the distance because it's very impersonal and it's just like, it's not honorful. You know, I like.
Yeah, that's the training that you
weird
had.
to talk about this, but I like.
No, I understand it. Yeah.
I like to look you in the eyes. If I'm about to take your life, I will look you in the eyes and be the witness until you go out or until I have to go to the next opponent. But Jesus, man, like I feel when I fight, it's poetry. It's like watching a symphony being performed. It's like almost magical, you know? And I just realized this for the first time in my life about 2 years ago. I have never, ever, ever in my life been punched in the face during a fight. Not one time. I have no memory of ever being punched in the face when I ever fought anyone. That is freaking insanity. That's insane. How's that even possible? That's crazy, man. And I realized I don't want to be punched in the face. Like, I know what it feels like. You know, you never forget what it feels like to be clocked. And every time I was clocked, it was always never in a fight. It would be a random person that happened to me in high school. A kid that used to bully me. I got him back one day. I'm going to tell this story and it's funny. So there was this kid named Calvin and he would always bully me. He would be like what you would turn into be on the football team and like the jock, right? He's always talking shit to me and it was like junior high and I'm on the football team and he's always making fun of me because I'm the fat kid, right? But I'm on his own team. But he would never stop coming at me. Always in the locker room, always something, man. And I remember he comes up to me in PE and he comes up with 3 other guys. I remember one of the other guys, his name was Jeremy. Never forget that guy. He never let shit go, even in the high school. But it's funny. They all came at me and I got to the point where I had enough. And I'm like, I'm not going to retreat. So he came up to me and I had this magical idea to take my hand, put it down my pants, rub my junk all the way up and down, take it out and bitch slap him in front of everybody. He did not know what the hell just happened. He did not know how to react. He almost started crying. So it took him till high school to get me back. Parked my car, walking up to school. Him and 3 other guys, coincidentally. Just walk around the car. They didn't say nothing. I did not see nothing coming. He walks right up to me and punches me in the face. Breaks my glasses into my face. I'm bleeding. And my emotional reaction was, I'm shocked. I just got punched in the face. I'm turning around going home because I can't see now. That was the last time I was punched in the face.
They hit you in the nose? Did you black out like a little bit?
Oh, no, nothing.
No.
It was more
Being
like,
in the blood.
It was more like my glasses cut me. Because he punched me right. I was wearing glasses and he punched a guy with glasses. It's like, hey, man, if I'm walking up to you, I'll be like, you know, if I want to have at least a little sarcastic warning, you take off your shades real quick. Trying to be polite here. But yeah, man. Years later, he apologized to me. So it was all good. But like, where do you learn this stuff? Where do you go straight to alpha mode and tactician-wise know how to defeat an opponent and all of them at the same moment? Because you know that fighting won't work, you know? So that's always stuck with me.
I was sucker punched before because I used to work in restaurants like years ago when I was younger. And there was a girl kept on trying to take my tables. And I mean, it's the city, they're city people, you know what I mean? It's like from the Boston area. And then she kept on like, I don't know. It was just really weird. I knew that there was something else going on. But I had my head down. I was going to get some of the napkins or whatever. And she had like one of those like bottle openers, you know, for wine. She sucker punched me and like fractured my nose. So like I blacked out for a moment, but I grabbed a hold of her, threw her down on the ground, and she hit her. I hit her head. I shouldn't have done that because it was marble, but I blacked out. You know what I mean? You kind of get angry and you see red or whatever you want to call it. And out of nowhere, some big guy came and grabbed me from behind and was holding me like for dear life. You know what I mean? Like he was afraid to let go of me. And like I don't know. I mean, and then finally I said, dude, I said, just, you know, get off of me. And I was still trying to see. I couldn't see. I had blood all over my face, and I went into the back room and they said, what did you do? And I said, I didn't do anything. I was going to get a napkin. I said, why are you taking her side? She was over there complaining. And I was like, it felt like it was a setup. I knew it was a setup. But it wasn't necessarily the people in the restaurant. It was almost like I knew this was not normal. It wasn't natural. Like this girl going out of her way to cause problems with me didn't make any sense. And that guy that showed up and put me in a hold, that didn't make any sense either. Like, where did he come from? He was just like a regular person sitting in a restaurant. He was like a big bodyguard, and he came out of nowhere. So you know, like this like really weird stuff that happens, and you're like, how in the world did this happen? Now, I didn't take any martial arts because of where I lived and everything. There were times where I had to, you know, protect myself, and I would. And I know that people look at me and they say, oh, you look like you wouldn't do anything. But if you have to, you have to, right?
Your altar will. If someone activated that kind of trauma and your altar came out, your altar would probably kill them.
Oh, yeah.
You would Jason Bourne that shit.
I have to stop myself because I know that if I was provoked enough, I would go into that. I've seen myself go into that mode. And that is, like you said, you don't feel any pain. You don't feel anything, but you know exactly what to do.
Yeah, it's like there's only a target and you take down that target as fast as possible in the least amount of moves with the less effort. And I don't go emotional. I go completely, you know what? I wouldn't say I don't go emotional. I feel like something activates in me and it becomes a laser beam focus.
Like you're not flailing. You're not flailing. You're not just like screaming. And you're not, you know, it's nothing like that. It's boom, boom, 2 seconds down. I do not
verbalize a single word. Nothing. Yeah. Nothing comes out of here. It's all my body. And if I had to fight, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm watching your entire body. One time at my tattoo shop, I had an employee named Johnny. And this guy's a huge guy. And he was in a famous band in Texas called Pimpadelic. Some people's heard of it, some people hasn't, but it was tantamount to Pantera. And it was some rock star days, man. Like they were really known. I remember that music. Yeah. So Johnny ends up coming to work for me, and this is like a big tattoo. This guy carries a gun, and he's a convicted felon, and he still carries a gun on him. He ends up shooting one of the homeless guys years later to protect the cops because the homeless guys were shooting at the cops. He shoots the homeless guy. The homeless guy doesn't go to the hospital. And 2 weeks later, I see him in 7-Eleven with a bullet in his elbow. He told me he was keeping it there for evidence for the lawsuit. I'm like,
What?
I swear to God.
Just take pictures.
I could not believe it. A homeless guy had a bullet in his damn arm, and you could see the damn slug, and it was halfway in and half. I'm like, it is attached to the bone. I can't believe I'm seeing this. Anyways,
Wow.
I've watched Johnny pistol whip people in my parking lot. Johnny doesn't. I never seen him physically punch someone. He pulls out his pistol, and he will knock you the hell out with his gun. And the 2 times I watched him pistol whip someone and knock him down, he had his finger on his trigger. You know to never do that under any circumstance. If you have a firearm in your hand and you're about to hit someone with it, point your finger forward. Don't put it on the trigger.
Right.
The 2 times he hit somebody, the damn gun discharged. I'm like, you could have blown a motherfucker's head off. Are you nuts? If the cops find out you had a gun, man, you're going to go to jail for so long. But that officer-assisted shooting, they thought it was cool. They're like, oh, Johnny, it's cool because Johnny's super known. He's an awesome country singer. That dude's awesome. And, but anyways, long story short, I'm in the middle of doing this Cherry Blossom Black piece. And I noticed over here, Johnny and this drunk redneck are just talking shit to each other. And it's going on, and it's driving me nuts. I'm trying to focus on this back piece. And suddenly a fight starts. I look over and you see me on video. I'm like, I exhale, not emotional. I apologize to my client. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Let me deal with this. You actually see me casually say, they're fighting over there. I'm like, let me just handle this. You see me sarcastically walk over, take off my gloves. I'm like, God damn it. So Johnny's in a fetal position, and this redneck is kicking his ass. And this is big tattooed. This dude's intimidating looking. So it was shocking. I thought Johnny would have handled this drunk redneck. So long story short, I pick the guy up from behind, and I pin his arms down, holding him, giving Johnny that eye wink to then punch him in the face while I hold him. And Johnny went to punch him. He missed. And he tripped over himself and hit the ground. And then I'm like, on the video, you see me say, God damn it. So I let him go and I let him spin around. And I just remember knocking him out in one punch. I thought it was one punch. Apparently it wasn't. We watched it on video. We watched it in slow motion. Somehow I left jabbed him in the rib and caused his body to rock the opposite way. And then suddenly when his body comes back, I do that right punch to the fucking side of the head into the ear. Knock him out clean. But like, it was just shocking to have someone so big. And they always have guns, and they're this big macho man. And like, I had to get up and stop what I was doing to help him real quick. And I'm like, Johnny, man, really? I was like, really, man? Come on, bro. We even watched it. I'm like, Johnny, what the hell, man? You've seen me sarcastically hold him. But anyways, I've never told that story. I'm sure that's going to get back to Johnny. He's going to find that hilarious. And everybody, that was it, because everybody's seen that video. All my guys, everybody's seen that video. So to see that side of me just come out of nowhere, and I'm so calm in combat, man. I don't, unless I have to escalate. That's when I get the tunnel vision, and it's extreme focus, and I'm not distracted. I'm in constant thought. I'm ascertaining everything. There's no disconnection. Does that make sense? So when I watch the John Wick movies, I'm like, oh my God, that's me. The way he moves, the way he's not emotional, the way it's like, again, a symphony. It's like watching art.
He's like, amazing. Yeah.
He's an artist.
It's so smooth. There's no like.
It's elegant. How can you say that is elegant?
Yeah.
It's freaking elegant. And like, when I started watching them, every time I watch the John Wick movies, I always have to watch 1 through 4 back to back, one each night, or 2 in one night. And I just watch them. I'm just like, where did I do that shit? That is how I do it. That is how I would joint lock somebody to do this. And it's just like, oh my God. Then you find out watching the movies, he's part of the MK Ultra program. And he's a programmed asset. And he has these tattoos on his back and his arms. But so does everyone else in that program. They have the exact same tattoos. They're all like Delta Assassin, different types of different types of programming, and like the Black Widow programming. Like the whole Black Widow movie, they thought, oh, it's just Black Widow, the character. No, that's called Black Widow programming. That's a real thing. There's been numerous books and everybody's talked about Black Widow programming. So no, Marvel's talking about trauma-based mind control programs, and they're telling you publicly in detail how deep they go, how they take you as a child, how they torture you, how they make you a machine where you don't think anymore and you just do.
Yeah. And yet they have these incredible abilities that it's something that it's innate. I mean, you can train in this life, but if you've been a soldier for multiple years, for multiple lifetimes, you just know what to do. You know exactly what to do when you have to do it.
That's what I've always known. I know that my skills were from other lives, because how can I learn all this?
Right.
Like, I remember being 14, 15, and I'm practicing ACIO, and I'm sitting on my knees and my eyes are closed and I'm in meditation. In like 1994, I'm a kid, man. And I would practice standing and drawing my sword, putting it back in fast motion and not cutting my finger off. And like all swords, all weapons, all knives. I remember being one of the very few memories I have from childhood is I remember bringing a pocket knife to school. And it was just a show and tell kind of thing. I think it was actually show and tell day, but I didn't show it to the class. I only showed it to my friends. Because, you know, I'm Texan. When we're born, we get a birth certificate and a standard issue Bowie knife. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm surprised they don't give us a pistol the moment we're born, because they're like, Constitution, Texas, if the government does this, Second Amendment, First Amendment. You know, it's just like they ingrain that in us redneck Texans. You know what I'm saying? It's all about protect everyone around you, and like you're the white hat, you're the cowboy riding in on the white horse, and like it's about honor and cowboys and
rite of passage,
all that stuff.
Yeah, we didn't have that. Massachusetts was like they didn't want anyone to have weapons except for the criminals. It was okay for the criminals to have it, but not us. You know what I mean? It's illegal for the average citizen to have anything. So, you know, when I was growing up, I lived pretty close to this area that was Cambridge, in their projects, and they said, you know, check for weapons and stuff when the kids would go into school. And on occasion, you know, you'd see them, like someone would be driving in a way, and they would just get out of their car. They'd stop the car, get out, and start hitting the car with a wrought iron or, you know, something. You know what I mean? They would improvise. Like if you say I can't do something, I can automatically start thinking of 1,000 scenarios how to get around all of it, and I can think about how you would respond and what mechanisms you would use in advance. It's just like, I swear to God that I'm Bane from like I'm talking about the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight Bane, because I feel like I'm this like master tactician, and I can see all these scenarios, and I describe it as like the traumatic brain injury. I can process all these scenarios simultaneously, and I use Occam's razor. It's almost like, I don't know if it's psychically, I just select the answer, and like 99.9% of the time I'm right. And like I can guess how it will end, or like movies, I can tell you who the bad guy is. I know the archetypes. I know how to identify them. I know how they're going to betray you. Even in real life, I can meet a couple, and I can look them in the eyes, meeting them for the first time, and I can tell you who's cheating on who. I can have a friend of mine on Facebook post photos of her boyfriend. I can look him in the eyes, and I can tell that he has a dark past or he's cheating on her. And I've told people this in the past, and every single time I was right. So I have some kind of connection to something, and I must have got it somewhere, because I've been like this my whole life. And if you know me personally, anybody watching this, you know damn well that's right. And it's freaky. I think, yeah, I mean, without a doubt, there's definitely, you've been through a lot. And what I'm seeing right now is like one of those future...
some of the meat and bones of that. Like, why don't we just get into it, man? Like, why water it down? Nothing you can say to shock me. Like, honestly, nothing.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm
because I'm like, Drago barely blinks. He's a robot. He's an Archon. He must be AI. It's just like, no, man.
No, I recognize your eyes. totally recognize your eyes.
It's like, honestly, when we were talking and vibing earlier, I see you projected 3D into the screen, and I can see you actually moving in 3D through the screen. It was trippy. Not just the flat version. I actually seen you in a 3D version, and I felt your face coming through the screen, and I was just focusing on it. It was pretty cool.
That's funny. Yeah, I
Because I was trying to see if I can pull your aura off. I've been when you was talking earlier, I was just focusing on like your third eye and not really looking, and I couldn't see an aura because I guess the technology, I don't know, man, whatever. Maybe it needs to be in person.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm not trying to block anything. I really don't care. You know, like not to be disrespectful, but like it's like I don't feel like I have anything to hide really. You know, I talk pretty openly. I have for years. And it'll be okay. But what I want to say to you before I forget is I'm seeing you in this like kind of like a dystopian place. Maybe it's in the future or in the past or some kind of time anomaly or context of existence. And I'm seeing you. You know, you're.
It's like, does it look post-apocalyptic?
You know,
It's like post-apocalyptic.
Yeah, but I'm not really sure which one it is. Whether it doesn't look like it was a nuclear fallout. It looks like some kind of war, but maybe there was unless you had an immunity to any kind of radiation. It doesn't look like anyone's having any problems with the radiation. It's just that there's not a whole lot there. Like there's no internet. There's no basic things. There's no stores, you know, like you're just like surviving there. And it looks like a group of like teenagers, 20-year-olds or so. And I can see you. And it's not like you're running around crazy or you know what you're doing. But you've had to like, you know, survive.
Yeah, I've been
and you brought that here.
Post-apocalyptic Blade Runner kind of stuff. Like I know I've been involved with that even for this incarnation, and that's what I know the most comfortable with because like that's what really exists on a lot of these planets, and like it's to the extremes. And like I've watched all these post-apocalyptic movies. There was something about me that resonated with it, but I never wished it upon myself. I never ever wished to experience it, but there was something about that was familiar to me.
Like Blade Runner, I look at Blade Runner, I'm like, I know that. Like I've been there, and it's like I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it's kind of integrated, like being around ETs in the Star Trek life, where you're in these kind of Blade Runner scenarios, and there's ETs walking past you, and you're like, "Hello, what's up, man?" Like full integration of all species.
Yeah,
that's what I'm used to. I'm not used to just being on a planet where it's just humans, and I've got to pretend like we're the only thing that exists in the entire cosmos. It's freaking insanity. I've got to play dumb. And I can't even talk normally to normal people because like they bore the shit out of me. They just want to talk about sports and celebrities and the dramas in their life. It's just like I can't connect to your 3D reality and your communication system because it's not compatible with my energy. Like, so when I tattoo, I'm not known to talk a lot. Usually when I tattoo, I put on headphones. I go into a place and I create. Because if I don't turn off my brain, it's hard for me to create because I'm constantly somewhere else.
I see what you're saying.
So when I turn on the music, I shift into the right hemisphere. Everything disappears. I will bounce and dance when I'm tattooing. And I'm known for that. Like I completely get into it, you know. I just disappear. But I have to. Because it's hard to create art for 22 straight years and focus, you know. Because when I'm distracting my mind, I don't think about how it should look. I just paint. I just do. Create art. The more you think about it, the more you fuck it up. The more you overcomplicate it. The more you're like, shit, I'm never doing that part again. Or like, I'm not, I thought about my life for one split second and I went out the line. Barely, damn it. So I've trained myself, don't do that.
Yeah. And then you have to fix it. It's hard to fix it. But I was also thinking you brought up Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves is in Cyberpunk 2077 as Johnny Silverhand, right?
Yeah.
So Do you see yourself there? Because I believe you're from there as well. That's future.
I think I'm one of the only people in the world that thinks Keanu Reeves is a bad guy. And he's definitely part of Monarch. The prototype for people who use children is they always buy into children's hospitals. Every single one. Everyone that's ever been outed that was a pedophile or involved in some kind of human trafficking, every single one were involved in children's hospitals. Every single one. And I believe Keanu Reeves' backstory. 100% loss. Everyone was killed around him. Lost a kid, lost a girlfriend, lost family. Yes, that is required. That is required in Monarch. And I see him as this kid that has been used since he was a child, and it's all he's ever known. And John Wick is actually one of his real kill alters. What I recognize as a soldier to another soldier,
yeah, there's no way he is just randomly acting on that one. That is too smooth.
When I watched him for the first time on training ground with live training for that John Wick movie, I seen a trained killer.
Oh, yeah.
I seen the way he moved and the way he cycled ammunition, and he made it a piece of art when he did it. It was all just magical movements and like laser beam focus. It's like you don't even really aim. Your consciousness knows where that bullet's going to go, and that consciousness makes it hit the target.
That's intuitive. It's intuitive battle. Yeah, absolutely.
It's almost like your mind spins the bullet, or it controls the bullet, because you can't just repeat something. You have to know it exists. Kind of like you know where the bullet's going to go. And at that point, if my mind wasn't blocked, I wouldn't need a gun. I can take a piece of lead or a rock. I can make that a bullet with my mind.
Well, consider reverse engineering the program.
That's why I say on my website, I reverse engineer shit.
I didn't see your website.
My website's pretty awesome. I think you need to check it.
I want to see it.
You would be like, damn, this is some good shit, man. I even expanded my real bio. I kept my professional bio off my website because I created my own website. I built the whole thing myself. But I kept the serious side off the website. And I say I do this. I do military assets. I do my labs, all that stuff. But I never really put my professional bio. I gave the watered down bio on it. And part of that fear that I told you I had that was one of them. Stepping forward into who I really am. Because the old Drago would have not have released something like this online, period. Because it's a fear. But now I realized it was part of the programming. And there technically was no obstacle. And I was only choosing to think it was an obstacle, but it was only in my mind. So now I realized that was a construct. So what truly is fear? It's self-created.
It's a fear of people's opinions of you, because that's ingrained at a young age, and the lack of conformity to society, because then you stand out in a different way, and they don't really like that, and no one likes that you're out of step.
I've always been the black sheep.
Yeah.
Like, I've died twice. 2 out-of-body experiences. One was drowning. I can't imagine how many times I was drowned in the program, so I guess that wasn't really nothing at all, really. You know, it's another day in the programs.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, we're going to keep drowning you over and over. It's going to help you with torture, and it's going to help you breathe in the regen tank. So just...
I saw you as a SEAL, like a Navy SEAL, just now. I saw you as a Navy SEAL in an Olympic-sized pool.
More than likely, I might have Delta-level programming.
I just saw it. I saw you. You know how they have the ropes that keep like the aisle? I saw you in a scenario like that. Yep.
And I can hold my breath pretty good, so I've been practicing that my whole life as a kid. Hold my breath underwater. Why would I do that? Like,
yeah, and it's the Atlantis program, I heard too.
I was in Atlantis as well.
Yep.
All kinds of nasty shit happened in Atlantis, man. Like, the original stories was it was this magical kingdom, but like it became the most corrupt. It's like the world today. It's like the new Neo Atlantis. Everything they were doing in Atlantis, they're doing today. All the hybridization, genetic
absolutely.
engineering, all that, repeating all of it. The stuff they were doing in the Coliseums publicly on the top, now we're doing it in deep underground military bases.
Mm-hmm.
It's like these celebrities talk about how they don't have to commit crimes publicly anymore because a lot of them in MK Ultra are doing it in deep underground military bases, unobstructedly. You have people like Donald Marshall that basically describe something like the Coliseum, and they use consciousness to clone transfer, and all these celebrities and all these oligarchs, they all meet in these deep underground military bases, and it turns out that this program was classified. It's still classified, but it's come out that they've been doing it since at least the 1950s, where all these presidents and all these famous people around the world, they would just consciousness to clone transfer, kind of like Hilton. A lot of the Hiltons have jump rooms, or they have a specific room where you fall asleep and you can transfer your consciousness and go to Mars or something. I don't know how many high-level people talk about that.
Really, about the Hiltons?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
The one specifically in LA where they have Conscious Life Expo, there's some shit going on there.
There's a lot going on in LA.
That's why they host Conscious Life Expo there, because of what's under it.
Wow.
No one ever thinks about that.
No.
How many super soldiers has outed the Hilton? Max Spears is one of the first one that I ever remembered mentioning the jump rooms and the Hilton, and then everybody started talking about it. Because honestly, Max Spears was my favorite super soldier. I don't know why. I've always been connected to him. A lot
of people, feel that way.
Heartfelt. He always knew what to say, and he had these soft demeanor, and it's just like, I feel like this is like a brother.
I felt like he was being honest, and without a lot of BS. He just kind of was telling what was going on, and he knew a lot. He had a lot of detail.
And I know 3 of the guys that was sent on the kill team that killed him. And they've all talked about it publicly, and they all corroborated each other's story.
Yeah, well,
Michael Prince was coming out talking about the programs, and that got out really fast. And a team was sent in on the premise that he had basically betrayed the program, and he was outing the program, and that's basically a death sentence. And
that's with military, that's definitely the case. And if you are, you have been entrusted with certain bits of information, you can get in a lot of trouble.
Do you see any psychic connections with me and Max?
Oh, definitely.
A lot of people think, I want to be a super soldier. I want to be awesome and all. No, you don't, man. No, you don't. If you know what the hell went on, no, you fucking don't. You would wish you never became one, man. Not in these Earth-based programs, man. Like the Drago and me, if the Star Trek thing came forward and Solar Warden became public and it's like, hey, we have Radiant Guardian, we have all these programs, we have Earth Defense Force, Mars Defense Force, we have all this stuff. Would you like to fly one of our ships? Today I would say fuck off, because I know they would try to put me through some more trauma-based mind control to condition me. And I know what it's like on these ships.
You become the asset. Yeah.
What's up?
You become the asset.
And they really don't truly care about their assets, man, because they know you can die 100 times and they can just bring you back over and over and over again.
Some are better. Some are better than others. I'll be honest with you. I don't think all of them are that bad. And I've heard some people talk about everything's a slave system, and for them that is their reality and what they understand and what they remember. I've seen a spectrum of different types of programs, and there are clearly some of them that are brutal. They're absolutely violating. And then there are others that are you're actually protecting. You're doing, and you have a cause or a purpose. So there is another spectrum to it. Most people don't talk about, because the better end of it isn't trauma-based as much as the ones that are trauma-based.
And now they don't even need to traumatize you anymore. They have 3GR technology. They can show you 3 green lights and 1 red light all in succession with a couple of tones, and it puts you in a hypnagogic state. Anybody. They can start the programming then, no trauma. So modern MK Ultra, they don't even do trauma.
Well, they're doing that now. That's why nobody's objecting.
Some factions still use trauma because that's who they are.
Right.
Other factions use VR training now. Back in the day, you had to go through these live exercises. And then if your body was blown up as a clone, you get rehomed. You wake up in the fucking hospital and then, hey, my arm's no longer blown off. There it is. That's weird. It was gone yesterday.
Yep. Well, think about it. You have someone publicly going out there and saying, I believe in depopulation. They're talking about how they want to depopulate and everything, and nobody's responding. That's a perfect example of mind control on a population.
Yeah, it's Helsinki syndrome, Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome.
You don't realize you're a slave or you're captive at that point. You think you're free, and you don't understand there's chains that hold you back. And
it's almost like they don't hear it. They don't hear it, and they don't see it. And everyone running to make sure that they accommodate or they comply. And then afterwards saying, what did I do? And there was even a woman that ended up having some kind of stroke or whatever. She goes, but I would do it again. And you're like, that's really, really got deeply mind controlled. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Why would anyone volunteer to that?
It's funny. Earlier, you mentioned my bike crash, and you said they did it. And up till this point, I've never considered that it wasn't my higher self arranging, and I've never asked. So now I'm going to freaking find that answer out. I'm like, did they cause this to happen?
There's that thing that you're in. Maybe they're trying to knock you out of it. I was in something like that as well. They threw me out of a plane. I've always been very somewhat strong. I mean, I've fluctuated my weight up and down or whatever, but essentially be strong. Like if someone said you have to move, I'd have all the boxes. I'd be lifting them or doing whatever I needed to do. No problem. There was one time where I actually had a recall or a dream that I was on a plane and I was yelling at them, telling them that they didn't have a right doing what they were doing to humanity. And they literally threw me out of the plane. And it wasn't just a plane, it was a spaceship. So it was really high elevation. So I had a discussion with Peter about it because he called me like 9 times. He never does that. And he said he saw the whole thing happen. And then I said, well, I think I'm okay. It feels fine. I don't know what exactly happened, but I know that something did happen. And then he told me at some point before I landed, I created a vortex to prevent a really hard fall. And then they were upset. Everyone was upset that I was creating this energy field that was messing up a whole bunch of stuff. And a few days after that, my back I couldn't walk. I was literally crawling on the floor. It was so surreal. I've like, what the hell happened? I've always, had very good health and been strong and whatever. And suddenly I was just down on the ground. And no, true excuse or reason why that would happen. And it took me a good year of, chiropractors and all sorts of things just to get my back so, I'm mobile and feeling okay. I mean, they really almost took me out. And they'll do stuff like that. I didn't have anyone physically come in.
Me, man, I will wake up and go through all these pains, and I will go to sleep, and these pains will just start coming out of nowhere. And sometimes I'll feel like my shoulder's dislocated. I'll wake up and it feels like my shoulder's dislocated.
Yeah.
Or I'll wake up and I'll have these marks on my body and I have no reason. I have no idea how I got them. So over my lifetime, it's taught me to disassociate from the wounds, because if I'm doing something and I scrape myself and cut myself open, I'll notice it immediately, but my brain will say, it's non-integral. It's not vital to think about it. So I don't think about it. And the wound, it's like I
It
no longer
starts to
feel
heal.
it.
You can heal it. You can heal it, but like
That's
like,
one of my powers. Apparently, is healing.
yeah, the thing that throws you off is that you don't know the source of how it came in. So
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. So logically, you're trying to figure out, how do I fix whatever this was that hit me like that? And I've had clients that they'll be talking and then out of nowhere, like they're not doing anything. They're just like, with their arms to their side. Out of nowhere, there's these scratches and gouges like in their skin. Like they'll say, "Ow, something's burning me," and it looks like someone just went like this along their back. It's crazy. Some of the stuff that
sometimes in QHHT, they'll manifest some kind of physicalness from the actual session, like something will come through as a physical remembering of something that just happened.
Yeah.
And it's
or are they going? We're so powerful. People don't realize that. Are we literally going into that space and having that experience? And I was doing regressions with this one woman named Jennifer, and you could find them on my channel, and she would start yelling, "Leave me alone, stop hitting me." She'd see them coming at her while she was talking to me. So she would like actually find a place where she was, and people were like started getting upset. So I stopped doing it because, I mean, she doesn't do that as much, I mean, obviously we got through wherever that space was that she was in that was creating these problems. But still, I mean, people don't understand, we are multi-dimensional beings. We're in multiple places at the same time, and sometimes we're stepping into that space, and it is absolutely very powerful that it manifests. So you know that you've seen it.
I understand that my body is only a small part of my consciousness, and the bigger part of my consciousness is somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, it's a powerful thing. And we were always told that we are, I mean, it's almost like two-dimensional the way people talk sometimes. I know that we have our minds and our abilities. I think people started to talk about like manifesting things. They started to come out and begin talking about this regarding that your thoughts, you're able to manifest certain things, which is only like this much of what our brain can do. But it's so much more. It's like this much compared to what people were willing to consider, aside from those that were getting trained for like extreme sports or some kind of competitive activities, military people that were striving for top leaderships. Those people were learning these abilities, learning from like Carnegie or some of these other guys that came in before, and then they started talking about manifesting later, in a different way. And now people are starting to tap in through regressions to some of these different experiences. Like in my book, my book, The Seer, that I wrote, I talk about, it's all about regression. Literally starts off that I'm in a regression, and I go back to my childhood, and they ask me what I'm doing, and I'm seeing myself just picking these little violets in the backyard. It was my neighbor's backyard. And then all of a sudden I watch myself disappear, just like that. And then I pop back up. And I'm like, what in the world just happened? How did I do that? And so you start seeing things like, why don't I remember that? But your subconscious remembers it. And it took a regression to be able to see that.
Psychically, what do you see about the block with me with my memories?
I think it's regarding that space that you're in. And that's, like I said, that's why I wanted to contact you. It's almost like a, it's like so many different different things connected into one, like a universe. Like, all right, maybe this will help. Peter talks about the babushka. It's like the doll, but the doll within the doll.
The Russian nesting doll.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're like saying that my memory loss is layered within the different layers of my different types of bodies, like my astral, egoic body, buddhic?
No, you literally, from whether it's a program, I don't think it was like nefarious. I think it's almost like you were put in a battle and then time shifted and it's still running. But it's, I don't know if looping is the right word for it. I can't figure out, but like I told you, for about a year, I said, there's someone out there. I don't know who it is, but there's something, it's creating some kind of anomaly of some sort.
You're saying that I could possibly be creating a time loop that doesn't just affect me?
Yes.
That's what you meant about the spiraling energy, the loop?
Yes.
What's the purpose of it?
It's weird. It's like it's not just like this. It's like going like this, like all different. And then it has an expansion, and then it has like kind of thing, and then it expands out.
Is the interesting thing about me is I understand completely complex theories of like quantum physics and quantum mechanics and like time, like something about me where I understand it on a level with no training. And I can talk to a physicist and hold a conversation, and by the time I'm done talking to a physicist, he's like, "Who are you, man? Like, what the heck? You blew me away, man." Like, it happens to me so many times. Like, I don't know. I would like to discover why, because the key to my awakening is the past. Unless I get downloads of everything or something activates me, when will this happen?
You will. I think, like, all right, so I'm seeing you like in a like something from ancient Rome, like those chariots. It looks like it's really bright gold. Or
I was definitely a gladiator. I've always been these lifetimes of soldiers and pain and dying and death and.
Yeah, but I see you with one of those chariots, and it's really shiny, and it's like carved. This holes, like this carved sections of it, and it's kind of covering you, but you are in like a really like extreme momentum, and then it did something like where you stepped into something. I don't know whether you did it or someone created an anomaly while you were in that like a high adrenaline state of whatever was happening.
You mean like formed an entrapment for me?
Something like that, yeah.
You're saying possibly that life could have been connected to this loop?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And I was put into that loop because of what was coming, and the only thing they could do was put me in a loop because they couldn't figure out what to do at that point?
It could have been like you were
because logically it makes sense. In order to trap me and not know what to do, it would make sense to put me in a time loop, especially if I keep forgetting my memories and I keep having to repeat the same stuff. I guess that's why I predict what's going to happen next, because maybe I've already witnessed it, and that's what the loop is. And that's why I'm such a good guesser.
It's not a typical loop. It's almost like a micro reality of some sort that someone created and you got pulled into it, but you also had, I don't know if you were like Celtic or some kind of like you pulled in, how that they would get in their battles and they'd like, pull those people in. And if you were like a warrior, but you were captured and you became, like a slave, but then you became a warrior. It feels like you had like a like Irish, Celtic, or English, something like that, where you had your own form of magic, and maybe the combination of whatever whatever else was going on at the time created. I'm not really sure if there was one individual that created that anomaly.
It'd be interesting to get some remote viewers together and see what actually happened.
Yeah.
Because at that point, you can see what is going on literally without being blocked. Because I don't think they can block remote viewing unless they're using some really good ritual magic.
Remote viewers, they all have different ways of looking at things. Like, I don't think anyone actually operates exactly the same way as a seer. Some people have it coming from different ways in their, whether it's in their mind or their, some actually use their body. It's pretty bizarre. But yeah, I mean, you can have people take a look at what I saw. And but the thing is to be careful with it, because it's active, you know, it's not nefarious, but maybe in some ways I believe it protected you. So it almost like, all right, the thing
How
about
did you first discover this? You first told me when you first started talking that an event happened and you realized I'm that guy. What was that moment that happened? Tell me.
I remember talking to my friends saying, there's some guy out there, he's young. He's some guy out there and he's doing something. He doesn't realize he's doing it, but he's creating something. So here's another example, all right? It could be also as a result of a program that maybe they sent you back in time to do some kind of thing. Like maybe you were there to assassinate someone that caused a problem, or you know, like the JFK scenario where, you know, someone shows up out of nowhere and creates all this trauma, but it sends our timeline into another direction. Maybe it was something like that. But when you're in those spaces, yes, you don't have your memory, but it also creates like a protection. So maybe that car accident that you had, you could have gotten more injured or even killed, but because you're there in this space, you didn't, because it created like a time-space anomaly where you can't really die. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my star chart says I can't die till at least a specific time period. Even if I try to kill myself, it won't even allow to be happen. It's physically impossible for me to die.
There are people that have this like incredible ability to do all sorts of different things, and sometimes they have things like this that exist. So if you do disable or dismantle it, make sure that you're protected on the exit out of it.
Yeah, because under that premise, that scene would then unfold and possibly restart on that chariot. Because if I'm in momentum right now, and then it's put around that, and a time loop has happened, technically, if you restart that circuit, it starts from the moment, kind of like 20 and back. That moment restarts as if it never stopped.
Or would it bring you into another timeline, or would you not be connected to certain people that you were connected with? There's a lot of different variations from something like that. That's why when people start, I think this is also, I mean, I'm just putting out the different things that I've seen. Some people have been extracted, like they're no longer needed, you know, after they pull out of something. So you have to ground yourself when you pull out. You have to make sure that you're grounded.
I would need training in that before an actual knowing activates. So maybe in the future we can maybe arrange some people to help me with that. That'd be cool.
I'd help you with it. Yeah, if you want to get some people that you trust, sure.
We need to definitely arrange it behind the scenes.
Right. I don't think it's horrible, but it is putting you in some kind of holding space, and first of all, you didn't ask for it. However, you might have done some kind of like Celtic magic to enable yourself to survive, which might have contributed to the anomaly. So there's like a few different, I'm just throwing out different scenarios because I do feel that you were adrenaline big time, like really flying with that horse.
That's funny because I rarely ever go to adrenaline anytime I've ever had to do anything. And the normal reaction would be adrenaline and then react. But something can pop out and I would have to react, and the adrenaline doesn't even kick in anymore. It's almost like I'm still in that piece. The times it does kick in, that is when I get that first shot from my heart, everything goes slow motion. So that is some kind of performance enhancement tool when it happens and allows me to go into slow motion. And I can start thinking in between time. It's not like it just goes in slow motion.
Kind of like the Flash.
Exactly. So I can process thoughts in between the time and know what to do because I've thought about all the scenarios. And to tell people you're kind of like Doctor Strange, you just get laughed at. But like, again, if you had gifts and you could look into someone and then you're like, he claims he's Doctor Strange, I'm gonna use my psychic gifts, you look into him, you're like, holy fuck, Jesus. This is one of the most complicated individuals I've ever looked into the mind of. I don't even know how to put it together or even know what I'm looking at. Because it's like, you said, just momentum and chaos. That's what it feels like. It feels like just energy that's being held in, and it's being obstructed unnaturally. And I know that has to do with, that's the key to everything.
It was like druid. That's the word that I was thinking. And your earrings, that's the color. Is it like a gold or
Tiger's eye?
It almost looks like gold from here. It looks like metal. That's what it looked like all in front of you. Really shiny.
To have a gold chariot, you have to be someone of stature. You have to have extremely high rank or royalty, because not even the highest gladiators had gold chariots.
It was either that or a very polished brass. It was shiny.
Was there any sculptures on it?
Yeah, it had like some kind of carvings
where
you can actually see through.
Was there a woman on it? What were the carvings of?
I couldn't really tell, but it was like perforated. You could see like holes through it. Like it was vented, I'll say. It was like probably vented.
Kind of like the helmets you'd wear if you had to pull down a faceplate. You're going to have a bunch of circles in it so you can see there, but you can still be blocked from a spear or like a sword attack to the face or something.
But maybe to give you some kind of airflow or whatever, maybe help you to ride it even faster.
Yeah, that's technology right there. So just to know that would be some kind of advanced knowledge right there. Because that's knowledge of aerodynamics and fluid dynamics.
Mm-hmm. But it was decorative. It wasn't just like, specifically for aerodynamics. There was definitely a decor to it, And I'm wondering if it was even in this reality where it happened. It might not have been.
Well, I mean, with the whole Mandela effect and different timelines, man, like what I've learned with Montauk, they sent everybody back in time to make these changes, and they realized when they came back, they were on different timelines. They kept making changes on timelines that weren't the alpha timeline. Let's say ours is the alpha timeline, but I'm not on that anymore. All these Mandela effects means I've shifted to another time stream.
Right.
I like to call them time streams, not timelines, because it's like fluid. It's like water.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's one flowing river, and you have these individual streams that break off. And like, I don't know. Yeah, but it's one convoluted everything. It's all just, I'm trying to figure it out day by day.
You getting there?
I'm trying, man. I've been deep diving knowledge for 20 solid years straight.
Yeah. But there's a lot.
I
It could be
remember
thousands of years you're looking at.
I
So
remember I saw my
20 years is
first
nothing.
ship in the sky when I was 23. That had to do
Mhm.
something to me. There had to have been an activation there when I was 23 when I saw it in the sky.
Yeah.
And then I've seen them so many
Remember.
times since then in the sky. I always see them in the sky. I can always see them just move, and I realize I can talk to them because I can say, I see you. Can you stop? Can you move this direction? Can you acknowledge me somehow? Because it's all consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But you realize that if it's like a light body, even some of these advanced ships, they can detect consciousness, but mainly it'd be like a light body ship because it's pure consciousness at that point. So once you lock onto it, you see it, that consciousness knows it's being looked at. So you can.
But is that your ship that they're using?
I don't know. Maybe
They're bastards, you know.
if I saw my own ship.
Well, of course you would recognize your own ship, and they are bastards.
It was way in the sky, and there was someone next to me. I'm talking about. It was high. It was way high in the sky, and the girl next to me, we witnessed it together, and we were just blown away. But like, I'd love to see my ship again, man, because like I said, it's a part of me. Like, it literally is me. Like, it's an
Take it back. So give me the keys. It's mine. You take it back. I'm telling you.
And I can change the ship at will. I can change anything. I can think of it differently, and it modifies itself at the speed of thought, because like the technology we use, it's depending on which groups it is, it can either be instantaneous or it takes a little times for the nanites to recalibrate. And I love using crystals. There's always a crystal on my ship. The crystal powers my ship. The most advanced technology is the most rudimentary. We as humans, we think we need all these mechanical parts and wires and integrated circuits. You don't need none of that shit. All that shit is human fucking trash. You don't need nothing, none of that. You don't need it. And that's why all these wars outside of this, that's why a lot of the human-based stuff, we always get clobbered. Because they're using advanced technologies. They're using their minds.
Right.
Like you mentioned, like to.
But they're giving us the crumbs, you know. They'll say, "Oh, well, you can have this," but it's almost like artificial humans, you know, with the wires and technology, basic technology. But they'll never be real humans, as much as they try. And I know that, you know, Peter insists that, you know, you can't tell the difference. I'm sure you can't. You know, just like we were talking earlier about, was that movie that you said, and we both said we'd like to be there.
Which movie? Oh, you know what's funny? Where I feel the most home is Avatar movie. I know that
you like Avatar?
I live the life where I prefer the most, and that is home. I see that place as home the most. I feel the most.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That is, take all the technology away and live with the earth and communicate with everything around you and talk to the plants and the animals, and everything's a symbiotic relationship. That's home for me.
That's Adam Eve. That's the way it was. That was the original. That's it. We got robbed of that. We got the artificial, the imitation of all of it.
We got the ghetto bootleg DVD copy of a new movie that just came out that they were selling at 7-Eleven down the street.
Yeah.
And it's a crappy copy. They actually recorded it with an actual video camera. We got that bootleg version.
Yeah. It's still there. We still have some of the early remnants of that, and they're trying to destroy it. They want to take it down. They want to throw chemicals on it. They want to poison it. They want to get rid of the sun. They're sick. They are so sick. It's insane.
It was funny. They're trying to lower the worldwide CO2. What do you think plants eat? That's their number one food source.
Nitrogen,
CO2.
yeah. Get rid of nitrogen.
CO2, worldwide food shortages. So that's what they're doing now. They took out all the top infrastructure in the United States of all the food processing centers. There's been well over 500 major food processing plants that's exploded, blew up, exploded, blew up. That's the same word. Arson cases, gas explosions, they've killed all of them. And then coincidentally, right before it all happened, Bill Gates came in with this plan. Hey, man, we're all going to go fake meat, bro. You know, if you want to eat meat, we'd prefer you guys to eat crickets and stuff. Because you know what? Come on, man. Other countries eat crickets and roaches. Why wouldn't you, man? So we want you eating crickets and roaches and all this other insect stuff. And now they're putting it in all the foods. If you go to Walmart, start going through the food section and grab every great value brand Walmart product you see that's food. Turn it around. They're putting tilapia, crickets, all kinds of meats and non-meat products. They're putting it in pancakes. They're putting it in seasoning, all kinds of stuff. And now they're getting smart. Some say crickets. Literally says crickets. The other says the scientific word for that species of cricket. And it kind of sounds like a scientific chemical name, so who really knows what that means?
It's disgusting.
But they've taken out all the infrastructure. They're taking out everything right now. Like what I've seen done the last 4 years is the complete destabilization of the United States. Like 100%.
Yeah.
So many movements have started since Biden became president. So much has been uncovered, which is good. Like I said, all these investigations and everything that's coming out through Congress, like shit's really, it's been hitting the fan for a while. I've been watching these congressional testimonies like clockwork, and they're long, man. Like they're like 30 or 40 hours long when they're doing these testimonies. And I'm watching like damn near all of them, seeing what's really going on and what they've covered. And the reason why these guys were never arrested, my mind is blown. And it just proves that it's so corrupt at the highest levels in the United States that the FBI is protecting all the guilty people. The CIA is protecting guilty people. The Department of Justice, everything. It all has to be cleaned out. All of it.
Yeah. But it's almost like
it's a cleansing. And they know who needs to leave. They know what factions need to be taken out of the deep state, like for real, the actual real players. And it's a waiting game. I'm just patiently waiting, seeing what's happening behind the scenes. And if I get activated in order to get deployed or something, it would not fucking shock me.
I think that, you know, sometimes I look at this and it crossed my mind that the reason why they're allowing some of this information to come out and even like tossing us a bone, talking about UFOs, that they know that their anticipation is that we're getting destroyed, so they don't really care. And it's crossed my mind. I don't like it, but I don't want to ignore it, because I want to make sure that we're okay and they can leave. They really can. I could show them where the door is. I mean, me and thousands of other people, if not millions of people that are awake, feel the same way. But they're not satisfied. It's like it's beyond winning. It's like they're not going to be happy unless we're completely annihilated. And it's really twisted. And I don't know how it got to this point, but maybe it's our disdain for them that they're justifying it. But it doesn't really matter. They still don't have a right to do any of these violations. And they'll never have a right to attack children and elderly and innocent people, as far as I'm concerned. And I'm sure, like I said, many others would agree with me, but it crossed my mind that they're satisfied knowing that they're going to do us in. And even like, you know, you hear like Elon Musk talking about, oh yeah, we're going to go get our Mars colony. And so they're just going to automate the Earth put it into some kind of AI mode and have us all essentially submit or destroyed kind of concept, and that also has been coming up. So it's time to, like, really, if people have abilities, it's a good time to use them.
That's what I've been kind of psychically trying to broadcast. Like, this is the moment.
It could be.
Clarify what I mean by that. I think you can maybe understand what I'm sending you right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a part of me that also thinks that that vortex that you were in was actually a loudspeaker.
What do you mean?
Kind of like an emergency call. Because it felt like that sometimes. I'm talking about over like about a year. I don't know if it was beyond a year. For about a year, and I've said it to my I need to know who this person is. And I think they try to hide you from me.
I have a feeling that if we meet in person, it's going to activate some stuff, like the energetic field.
Oh yeah. Well, I think things are happening right now as we're talking. Because I know that you know.
You fucking blew me away, and like the stuff you knew about me, man, I was like, oh my God. Like, I told Matthew, I'm like, the stuff she knew about me and where I've been, I'm like, what are the odds of that? And we were talking about how it's hard to believe in certain people and insiders and organizations because it's to the point where a lot of it's all lies, right? And I was saying, this chick knew shit about me psychically that no one knows about, and stuff I've never even told people. Like, this is very legit. I'm telling you right now, this woman is freaking legit. And I thought about it all night long. And I woke up at this session. I'm like, I'm super excited, man. I said, I got 11 o'clock with her tonight after your session. And then we had his session, and it was freaking amazing. We've been in numerous programs. We've had numerous lives together. And like, we've been through the same stuff. And like, we're brothers. And like, to meet all these people, for me to step forward and to start talking to people and get my story out and stuff. And like, you realize that you actually, people remember me and people recognize my energy.
Yeah.
And you just have a knowing, man. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do. And I would never fabricate it. You know what I mean? It's like I said, at this point we're all in a very dangerous place for humanity right now. Don't waste your time. You know, I'm not talking to you, of course, but I would say that to the public. Don't even waste your time playing a game, imitating others. Just be real. Just be who you actually are, you know, because that's what we need right now. We need people, if you have abilities, use them for something good instead of playing games or complaining about other people or doing whatever, you know. And that's what I like about you, because you're real. And you're doing something.
Tell people that I'm the realest motherfucker you're ever gonna meet your entire life. And mark my words. If you know me, if you get to meet me in person, I am brutally honest, and I don't hold stuff back. If I know I'm allowed to share. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I can look deep into your soul. You know what I'm saying? Most people can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's uncomfortable for people, I think.
I don't think just people are used to being acknowledged anymore. I think we're so distracted from social media that we become this machine where we don't connect anymore, and we only want to connect online, and we crave the human touch and to be acknowledged in the physical, but they're training us to distract our mind and be busy with life, where we're no longer in touch, getting touched, and then we just disassociate and we get addicted to being online because we have no value in our life anymore. Because there's no purpose. They took away our purpose. Going into Elon Musk, I was going to talk about that earlier with Werner von Braun. 1952, a book called Project Mars came out. Werner von Braun wrote it.
Yep.
In that book, he
Yeah.
says, coincidentally, a man named Elon will colonize Mars.
Yeah.
And he also clarifies that Elon isn't a name, it's a title. It's kind of like El, the holder of the Tablets of Destiny, the person that rules Earth. That would be like one of the highest person. He would be on maybe the triumvirate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe they've already conquered. I mean, we both know Mars is already. We've already been to Mars, man. We've been through so many wars on Mars. It's crazy, like intense, and like I think I heard the wars stopped in the late 90s or something. I'm possibly mixing up dates, but I remember the mega shit stopped that was going on, allegedly, from what I remember hearing. But like, yeah, man, like he's definitely a bloodline family. His mom is definitely MK Ultra. They definitely own some emerald mines in Africa, and like they are definitely a bloodline. And the whole story about him coming out, he was poor, he rose up, he did PayPal, he sold it, he started this and started that. He started this and started that because he had contracts with the government. Like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they were the first two people that were allowed to build space programs to leave the Earth. That's always been illegal. They would never let anybody outside of NASA or the military industrial complex go outside of this planet. Suddenly, Tesla gets the contract 2 years after Blue Origin started with Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos started his entire secret space program before it was even public. He was doing that shit behind the scenes. Then you find out that Amazon delivers outside the Earth as well. Did your screen freeze? Maybe I lost internet. We might have to end the recording or something, or reset or something, because right now you're frozen and there's no audio.
You have been listening to Androna Talks Radio. Join us on YouTube channel Jessica Arael Morocco and visit her website at www.readingsbyariel.com.